Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
It seems like Bill Maher's full-time job is to dissect woke arguments, and his latest target, Whoopi Goldberg herself. Of course, let's be honest, her expanding collection of cringeworthy utterances since 2022 gave her a bit of a run for her. Money instead than merely criticizing her, Maher brutally destroyed her piece by piece, leaving Whoopi ducking for cover like a cartoon character, avoiding anvils. Now the question is, what did Goldberg say to provoke Maher's unbridled anger? Why was the woke crowd so startled by his clapback? No need to fret. We have included every delicious detail in this article. Take a seat. Everyone, in fact, there are no seatbelts whatsoever. So it's more like a roller coaster.
Got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg has pricked the bear, and now she's dealing with the claws of stark truth. And, oh, it's not pretty, remember? Our last video where Bill Maher attacked Sunny Hostin for trying to pull a fast one by putting words in his mouth? Well, seems out the view, staff isn't taking the L quietly this time. It's Whoopi Goldberg stepping up apparently on a revenge mission to deliver their pound of flesh. Looks like Sunny couldn't handle the heat Maher delivered, so she called in the cavalry, Whoopi Goldberg herself. And boy did. She come in hot, ready to rumble like a competitor in a reality show. Nobody asked.
And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
As if it were her Bible, Whoopi Goldberg flips through the woke playbook. Create a straw man and launch an offensive when your argument is collapsing. Faster than the Titanic, Black Americans want better employment, a stronger economy, and reasonable policing. And Bill Maher was making that very obvious. Easy enough, isn't it? Whoopi then starts talking about electing a former prosecutor who has aspirations. For the working class, is that related? Not at all. See the reasoning? Of course not, since none exists. She seems to be playing blindfolded darts and hoping that something will stick. Not at all, spoiler alert. Bill Maher didn't tolerate it either.
Down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Let's face it, quite typical of The View. Bill Maher didn't hold back when he called out Whoopi's thoughts. As likely ridiculous, the show has essentially turned into the political talk show equivalent of a train accident, which is uncomfortable to watch, but difficult to ignore indeed. It has long been recognized for its contentious, and let's be honest, dubious approaches to almost everything. However, with their completely ridiculous comments, Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg have succeeded in elevating the mayhem to new levels. Do you recall the occasion when Charlemagne, the god, braved the set as a visitor? You could almost see him questioning whether he had accidentally entered another reality.
Criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
The backstory is as follows. President Joe Biden, who has made it clear that no one is above the law, recently pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, after he was convicted of corruption and other related crimes. You mean to talk about family?
The backstory is as follows. President Joe Biden, who has made it clear that no one is above the law, recently pardoned his son Hunter Biden after he was convicted of corruption and other related crimes. You mean to talk about family values as expected? This action has drawn a lot of criticism. After all, when your own son gets away with it, how can you reconcile the whole? no one is above the law position unless you are a Biden supporter. It's akin to declaring that justice is blind, even though Hunter's remorse was as evident as a kid. With cookie crumbs on his cheeks, the family calendar somehow failed to include accountability, and that was precisely Charlemagne's point. The awakened mob should live by their own standards if they believe that everyone is subject to the law easy. Isn't it Whoopi, however, had a different idea.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You
his
really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all
No,
of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get off.
And there you have it, another gem that makes you roll your eyes straight from Whoopi Goldberg. The queen of cringe this time, Whoopi asserted that President Biden's statement that no one is above. The law was true, Whoopi, really, because there is a ton of proof indicating he said just that, including audio film, and most likely even cave paintings.
On the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one.
It's like witnessing someone boldly assert that the sky isn't blue while standing beneath. A cloudless sky when Whoopi tells a flagrant untruth. Her mental acrobatics could now earn her an Olympic medal, but even then she would most likely stumble over her own reason. Reasoning Charlemagne's expression showed disbelief at what she had said, but she didn't stop there. In fact, she asserted that Biden might have changed his views because he was fed up with seeing people get away with crimes. Charlemagne fell silent in shock.
I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
You're
go
mis-
out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen.
They don't have to.
The issue with the awakened mob, you see, is that they only condemn crime when the perpetrator is not a member of their little exclusive group. However, the fury quickly devolves into a tacit defense or a convenient case of selective amnesia when the guilty party is one of their own, naturally. Because Charlemagne was on the show Whoopi, and her group were able to get away with their antics. However, after learning of their shenanigans, Bill Maher essentially said, "Hold my beer," and gave one of the best vocal scoldings we've heard in a long time.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
Maher was spot on when he remarked that the woke crowd loves to portray themselves as the best moral guides and truth tellers. But their hypocrisy was exposed for everyone to see. Hunter Biden was guilty plain and clear. This time, however, he gets to leave without even a slap on the wrist. Since his father just so happens to be seated in the Oval Office, the crowd would be demanding their head on a silver platter. If this were anyone else, however, when it's one of their own favoritism, abruptly overrides justice. It's the epitome of hypocrisy, and Maher was correct to expose it as a total farce. How much longer will Americans tolerate this hypocritical behavior is the real question. It's about a system that goes above and beyond. For the powerful, while ignoring everyone else, it's not just about Hunter in addition to being timely. Maher takedown served as a warning to anyone who was still holding on to the idea of justice. The intriguing part, though, is that M noted that the mainstream media frequently assists the woke movement in
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
in an effort to defend President Biden and thwart Trump's re-election campaign. The media went to great lengths to minimize the Hunter Biden affair, despite growing evidence major outlets censored dissenting voices and rejected the narrative as Russian disinformation on The View. Whoopi Goldberg enthusiastically joined the chorus, mocking the veracity of the accusations. Maher, however, would not have it. He exposed the obvious contradiction. For everyone to see demolishing her justifications and calling her out for playing defense rather than looking for the truth.
Matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will.
The women of The View, particularly Whoopi Goldberg, aren't just awake. Maher was right. They're like a pack of sharks, circling and poised to devour anyone who doesn't share their beliefs. Their debate style isn't about conversation or the facts. Rather, it's about sneering and snaring work to silence opposition and impose their vision with a wave of her hand. Whoopi, in particular, has mastered the art of dismissing opposing views as though they are beneath her. But Maher didn't hesitate to confront them, revealing their strategies for what they are bullying, masquerading as advocacy. He constantly exposes their hypocrisy, which is why he is turned into a thorn in their side. Maher takedowns are a welcome change of pace in a room full of stale debates for viewers, weary of one-sided stories.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office. But they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Instead of blaming Russia racism or whatever other scapegoat. Is popular on Twitter this week. Maher contends that the woke mob should accept that democracy means that sometimes the other team wins. It's not a glitch, it's the system working as are intended. The sooner they stop playing the victim and start playing strategists, the better chance they'll have in 2028 or even 2032. M says that the woke mob needs to stop clutching their pearls over Trump's victory and start facing reality. He didn't steal it, cheat for it, or conjure it out of thin air.
Saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher is spotting once more. Not all Trump supporters are pledging allegiance to golden statues or throwing MAGA rallies in their backyards because they were tired of the sanctimonious lectures of the Democrats and the awakened mob's growing anti-common. Sense agenda, many of them held their noses and cast their ballots. Let's face it, you will lose some voters if you support biological men dominating women's sports or host demonstrations that appear suspiciously sympathetic to extremist organizations. Voters chose Trump because it felt like listening to a self-righteous vegan sermon at a barbecue, not because they liked his tweets or his tanning bed glow. Perhaps it's time for the left to stop embracing every radical concept in the activist playbook and start concentrating on what the average American can genuinely understand if they hope to win. It's comedic gold indeed. In addition to delivering the last nail in Whoopi Goldberg's coffin, Bill Maher essentially constructed the entire thing while giggling at its ridiculousness. The woke mob self-appointed high priestess Whoopi chose to attack Maher for having the audacity to think independently, a huge error. What did Maher say Bill in his prime, incisive, unrepentant, and heartbreakingly humorous? He pointed out how ironic it was that a co-host on The View, a program that bills itself as a platform for a range of viewpoints, would criticize him for holding a viewpoint she didn't share. Isn't it a bit wealthy? It appears that the same individuals who are always advocating for tolerance believe the term excal exclusively pertains. To their own beliefs, Maher was not having it as usual. He revealed the hypocrisy of Whoopi and her group's woke echo chamber, where anyone who challenges the narrative is viewed as a heretic and critical thought is forsaken in favor of naive allegiance. Their definition of debate is about imposing him their worldview with sneers and condescending, not about having a conversation. And despite her years in the business, Whoopi continues to demonstrate that she prefers repeating talking points than having meaningful conversations. The fact that more and more Americans are becoming aware of this game is the issue for individuals. Like Whoopi, they are fed up with having their thoughts restricted, feeling guilty for holding sensible views, and being branded as villains for just challenging the prevailing narrative. Maher speaks what so many people are thinking, but are too scared to express out, which is why he still has resonance. Maher used razor-sharp sarcasm and hard-cold logic as his weapons. And it was like watching Picasso paint as he dismantled their weak arguments. For those who continue to believe that The View is about free discourse, rather than ideological policing, the takedown was not only amusing, but also a much-needed reality. Check the episode for today is now complete. But believe me, Maher will continue to expose the hypocrisy of the woke crowd. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like this analysis so you don't miss any updates you won't want to miss what comes next. So don't forget to press that notification bell. We appreciate your time and hope to see you. At the next one woke, Ness is destroyed by Bill Maher leaving Whoopi, and The View stunned on live television Whoopi Goldberg. And The View had a complete breakdown while attempting to recover. After Bill Maher destroyed wokeness on live television, Maher exposes double standards, rips apart woke hypocrisy, and stuns Whoopi with hard, unyielding truths in this incendiary segment. Maher's ruthless truth bombs caught the so-called defenders of tolerance off guard. How did they respond? Anarchy, this takedown was unforgettable, from Whoopi's botched clapbacks to the panel's frantic damage management was right to call them out. Watch now and decide for yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more hard-hitting videos.